Today we're talking about the most basic but crucial skills to master, and that is mixing mud. You're going to be mixing mud in pans or in buckets, and it really depends on the type of job you're doing, the size of the job, your skill level. Homeowners will typically just mix it by the pan. Professionals will mix it by the pan and the bucket, again, depending on the size of the job. We are using this material. This material is something I've used for 30 plus years in different forms, and I find it more than adequate, very versatile, incredible material. It comes in 20, 45, 90 minute, 120, and 5-minute versions. You can find it almost at any big box store. Mix it thickly for filling in big holes, mix it like peanut butter, or you can mix it thinner for skimming, and it will do it all. It is a fantastic product. It sticks well, it does not shrink, and it dries like true plaster because it's setting by a chemical process, not like bucket mud, which sets up by evaporation. So that's the difference. This is not the same thing as bucket mud. This is, even though they're called a joint compound. So a lot of your plasterers in places across the country that still have plasterers are going to be repelled by this material. They're saying that's not real plaster. Well, you're right, it's not real plaster, but that's okay because we're not doing plaster. We're not putting in new plaster walls and ceilings. We're patching, repairing, doing repairs, and we can do any repair with this material. And if you look at the product specifications, you can find it says that it is not only used for patching interior drywall, but also plaster surfaces. This stuff is the perfect stuff because drywallers are used to it, painters are used to it, homeowners can master it. It is a bit challenging if you've never used it before because it does set up within a certain period of time. But if you start small, you will eventually figure it out so that you get it mixed up and ready to put on the wall before it sets up. Start with 45-minute if you're not sure. Anyway, what you need to start with is a mixing station, which consists of a bucket of clean water, your mud pan, your mud tools, including a 5-way or a margin trowel, depending on which one you have or want to have. You should have them both. Homeowner could get away with just a 5-way for mixing a pan at a time because that's where you're going to start. So you've got your setup right there. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to make sure that your pan is clean. In this case, I'm using my mixing water as my cleaning water, and that's okay because I just started. I don't have much material in there, but if you do wash your tools in the same bucket you're using water to mix with, eventually that water will get dirty and it will accelerate your mud in that pan so that your 20-minute mud will set up in 10 minutes. And that can be used to your advantage, but it isn't something that beginners should try. It's a professional tip that we'll look at more later in advanced mixing skills. So basically, first you have water in your pan because you don't want the powder to be in the corners of the pan. You don't want dry powder. You should always wear a dust mask when mixing this material. Long-term risks are there, which you can read on the side of the bag, so protect your lungs. So you pour the material, the dry material, into the pan that already has water, and you mix it with your margin trowel or 5-way, whichever one you have. Either one will work. The great thing about this material is you don't have to measure it. You are basically making it to the consistency you want for the job that you're trying to do and the amount that you want for the process that you're trying to accomplish. So you might need a small pan for a few cracks, and you might need it to be kind of a medium texture. That's fine, you do that. So basically I'm just checking it for the consistency based on what I want to use it for. Now if I've got it where I want it pretty close but not exactly, I can just take a sponge and squeeze water into it a drop at a time as I mix it. Alright, so at the end of every time I make a pan, I'm going to clean my mud pan out again. Make sure it's clean. You don't want trash in your mud. Trash will leave scratches on your walls. It just is, you don't want that. You want a nice finish. And then you're going to clean all your tools off one by one. So I'm going to clean my mud tools. In fact, while you're mudding, you may want to stop and clean off the back edge of that mud knife there, because it will get trash into your mud, because it will dry quicker. So I'm going to wash off my margin trowel. So that's how I want to leave the job at the day, and actually do it in between every pan as well, keeping those tools clean. So these are your basic mud mixing skills that apply to homeowners for sure, but also to professionals as well. In advanced mud mixing skills, we're going to look at mixing mud by the bucket and how to do that properly so that you don't make a big mess of that. So join us in that section. See you later.